Well, hello. Well, hello, everybody. Whew, it's been a long time since I've joined you guys or have on Facebook. I have been doing a lot of my lives on Facebook. So thank you. This was a really impromptu video. You guys, this is Caron Bailey. I am your independent demonstrator here in Austin, Texas. And I'm here to you on this, what do you call this night? I mean, there's thunder cracking and everything going on out there. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. This is my first Facebook Live in a very long time. And so again, I just wanted to thank you for taking your time. This was an impromptu visit. Let me make sure that I can see any comments and that we replied. Don't forget, there is a delay so make sure that if I'm asking you questions, I'll try to remember myself to make sure that I wait for y'all and to give me some responses. Sometimes it's a little hard for me to remember that. I normally lead into with all of the announcements, but you guys, I will add everything that I can to the description box. Don't forget to like my page, share my page, and when you find my video over on YouTube, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well. All right, so what is tonight all about? Well, this morning I got an email from Split Coast Stampers, and I do follow Split Coast Stampers. I get a lot of inspiration from Split Coast Stampers. Their gallery is amazing. But I got an email this morning, and one of the project or the featured products, I think that's what it was called, the featured project, was the Kintsugi technique. Now, it's Japanese inspired, and it's called Broken Repair. I think it's based on that. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a history, not here because I don't remember it all. I'm gonna share that with you in terms of what Kintsugi is all about. But really what it is the art of, I guess, repair, but making beautiful repairs. And you'll see what I mean when we get started. So if you guys will just bear with me, I'm gonna put my hands and everything all up in the business here, but I do wanna take a minute and go ahead and share the video, if you don't mind, so that I can invite some people to join me. So if you'll give me just 1 minute, I'm gonna go ahead and share the video. All righty. So you guys, it is hot as you know what here in Texas. I think yesterday we were definitely in the triple digits. It seems like it's triple digits now. I am just absolutely baking my brain. If you can see my image, you will see that I have this personal fan on my neck. I typically turn the fans off in my craft room. That way I don't have paper and everything blowing all over the place. But that's what that's all about. But anyway, back to the Kintsugi design. Now, when I'm trying something for the very first time, you guys, I do not use my current, I don't use a lot of my current Stampin' Up products. But once I get the hang of this, then I will prepare some projects for you using current Stampin' Up product. So like I said, this was Japanese, I want to say Japanese inspired. And so when I was going through my stash, I'm like, well, what do I have that's Japanese inspired? And there's quite a bit. But I absolutely love Bamboo Beauty, one of the most Asian flavored products that I know of. And then I love the Crane of Fortune. Now, for me, Crane of Fortune is, hold on a second, let me turn the light on here. Maybe that'll get rid of some of that glare. So the Crane of Fortune has some designer series paper, so I'm gonna work with that. Bamboo Beauty did not, so, but I love the sentiment and the Asian inspired feel. Okay, you guys, if I lose you, I mean, there's thunder and lightning going on here, so bear with me. If I lose you, I will come back or I'll record it and upload it later. So this is some paper from the Crane of Fortune designer series, and this is definitely retired. And so this is a piece that I'm gonna work with, okay? And this, and then I also went with a piece of the Fancy Flora designer series paper. So I think this is current. Well, no, it's not current, but I'm gonna make the a second one if we have time using this piece of designer series paper. Now, my card base is going to be Sahara Sand, and you should have grabbed some embossing powder, some embossing ink, and I'm gonna go with gold. I might want to change to copper. Let's see how that one goes. And some Versamark. So with that, you guys, we're just trying stuff out. So let's just have a go at it and see what we got going on. Somebody just join me, you guys. When you come on, please say hello. I'd rather talk to you guys than to feel like I'm talking to myself. So when you pop on, feel free to say hello to me and let's have a conversation. All right. So I'm going to cut this 12 by 12 sheet down into a piece that is 4 by 6. Now I'm not going to, or 4 by 12, sorry. So I'm not going to use the other side because this is already heavily gilded. So I'm not going to use this side. And let's just get this cut down to 4 by 12. And eventually we're going to cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. So let's just get the 4. And then I'm going to cut it to 4 by 6. And again, the beauty of the Stampin' Up trimmer, one of them is for me, is this lip right here, okay? That lip is amazing. How do you know when you have 6 inches? When your paper hits the lip when your paper hits the lip, okay? All right, so I see that somebody's commented. Oh, okay. And let's see what we've got going on. Hey, Linda, how are you? Thanks for joining me. All right, so we're gonna need this, and let's just go ahead and trim it down to 5 1/4. So we have a piece of paper that's 4 by 5 1/4. Now, the Kintsugi technique is about torn. And I think when I Googled it a lot, it had to do with like their broken glass or their broken china or their broken plate. And so how they repaired them. So it's involved. Hi, Lisa, how are you? So we're going to have to do a little bit of ripping here. Now, there's no rhyme or reason from what I understood from the technique as far as how to rip the paper, but what the technique says is to try to really avoid, you know, when you, let me grab a piece of cardstock. When you rip some cardstock, right, you can just do a quick rip like this, and then you have this huge white border. You can use that if you want, but it's a little bit more of a, oh, I didn't realize it matched my nails. But you want a little bit more of a delicate rip that we're working with. So some of the tips that I saw from when I was watching the video is to tear it a little bit slower and then control, okay? So I'm gonna start with this and I'm gonna use my nails as some guides, right? And you don't necessarily have to have them straight, and tear towards yourself. And they don't have to, you can do all kinds of designs. However, you're gonna tear your cardstock. Okay? So that's my first. And the key they said also was to do about 3 to 4 tears or rips. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do right now, is get the ripping part. And you're saying, oh my God, she's destroying that beautiful paper. I am. But because it's the Kintsugi technique, we are going to repair it as well. Okay? And then we're going to do one more rip so that we have 4 even pieces. And when I say even, I just mean 4 pieces. All right, so we have our 4 pieces. And this is what we're working with. Yes, it is beautiful. All right, so this is what we're working with. And we cut this to 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm gonna grab a piece of basic white cardstock and I'm just gonna get it ready. Make sure it's 4 by 5 1/4 as well. Okay. And it's 4 by 5 1/4 because we're gonna need to mount that on our beautifully designed card. We're gonna mount that as well. So we're gonna need to pay attention to where we have rips and tears and how we're gonna put them back together, okay? Now, the other important thing, we're gonna put it all back together today for this one, but you don't have to put it all back together. You can use parts and pieces and create multiple cards with whatever you rip, okay? So that's the first thing with that one. So what we're gonna need right now is we're getting ready. We're gonna need our Versamark. We're gonna need our embossing tray. I'm gonna use the gold because I think gold will work well here. And that's all we're gonna need. You guys, let's get ready. This is the first time I'm doing this, so I'm a little excited, okay? So the first thing we need to do is we're gonna grab our Versamark ink pad. Y'all, I need my eyes. I just cannot see. My vision is, oh Lord, that's much better. So all I'm gonna do at this point is I'm gonna dab the Versamark ink, make sure it gets on the ripped edge. Make sure to coat that very well. So we're gonna do a little dab, 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 dab. Okay. Unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to see it, but when I dab it, but believe you me, it's on there, okay? Let's cover this up. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour some of my gold right over top. Okay, I'm gonna make sure it's coated properly. Okay. Make sure it's coated very well because you want to be able to see the repair. Okay, I think that one's coated nicely. Let me just go ahead and heat this one up just to start so we can see what we're working with here. Have you anybody tried this technique before? Oh, I hope you guys give this a try. Let me make sure I don't have any where I don't want it. Because I want it all to be focused on the ripped and torn edges. You guys, makeup brushes make the best embossing tool, okay? It is. I'm excited. All right, so let me move that out of the way because I don't want to melt my paper. And can you see the embossing powder starting to melt? All righty. And so we're gonna do this for the remaining pieces. All right. And you can see when we build it back together, how we're gonna have the pretty, you see how the pretty is gonna be, you see how the pretty is going to be? So that's kind of what we're working towards right there, okay? All right, so let's get the rest of this already done and inked up. It doesn't seem like it's a difficult technique. It's not difficult. It might be a little time consuming, but it is not a difficult technique, y'all. So sometimes when we see these techniques, I tend to psych myself out. Oh my God, it's so hard, so hard. But it's not. It's just you just sometimes gotta take the bull by the horn, for lack of a better word or term, and just get it done. Try it. Break out the old paper, the old retired designer series paper, and just get to playing. And if you mess it up, it doesn't really matter. Why? Because it's retired designer series paper. Okay, make sure you have good coverage all over it. And y'all, Stampin' Up has this embellishment kit, embossing kit, which is what we call it, for sale. And it includes the tray, it includes a brush, and it includes the embossing buddy. I know when I said I wanted to try this, y'all, I really didn't have a finished product in mind. I just really, I just knew I wanted to do the technique, and I'm gonna figure the card out when I'm done, right? All right, so let's get this part done. I absolutely love to see when the embossing powder changes its consistency. I love it. Okay, that's number 2. So you can see how this is gonna come nicely together, right? And you're gonna have such a beautiful, elegantly done design and pattern. So if you wanted to, here's an idea. You could leave it just like this, right? And stamp your sentiment in here. You already have a design, right? You could also just put this piece here and have another design, right? So you don't have to put it all back together in its entirety. I'm going to do that because it's my first time and I want for it to be, I just want to see it completely done that way. But you have multiple options when you're putting this back together, okay? It's all in the designer's eye how you're going to repair your broken paper. And I keep saying repair the broken paper because that's what the technique is all about, is repairing. That's what Kintsugi means, is the repair. Okay. I don't have a lot of broken pieces here, so there's not a lot to add. And not a lot to repair on that. Okay. And don't forget to cover up don't forget to cover your embossing powder, y'all, because this the Versamark, because it will get into it. I mean, even though this is on the other side, let me tell you, it will get into your ink, because embossing powder gets everywhere. Whether you intend for it to or not, it gets there. All right, I think we're good. Let's see. Ooh, just see the lights flicker. I'm hoping I have enough. Let's see if we can get through this. Let's hope I can get through it, y'all. We got one more piece to go. Oops. And we don't really need to add, maybe a little bit here, right? Because what you want to make sure that you have embossing powder on is what's going to be on the quote unquote on the top. Okay. I think we're good with that. And if not, you can always go back and add some more. All right, last one, and then we get to put it together. I'm excited. All right, so now that we've got our parts and our pieces together, let's go ahead and put our embossing powder back in the container. That is the beauty of this tray. It has this little spout that you can put the powder right back into the container, a funnel, I should say, not a spout, that you can use to make sure that you put the embossing powder back into the container without loads of mess. Oh, I gotta clean that out. Something got in there. All right. Our liquid glue. Okay, and we need liquid glue because we're gonna need that extra time. At least I am. So I'm gonna start reassembling. So what do you guys think of this technique so far? My favorite glue, I love Tombow, but I love the Barely Art glue. Okay. And we want all of our embossed or our embellished pieces to be on the top. Okay. And it's just like putting the parts and pieces of a puzzle back together. that's it. We're putting the puzzle back together. Okay. So this is an idea. Look at that. We can already just stop, like I said, showed you guys before. And now this one, I think was, where was this guy? This guy was here somewhere, right? Ooh, I need to put some here. Because I should have put this under, I still have time. Hold on, let's see if we can lift this up really quickly. Let's see if we can lift it up. If we can, we will. It's a mess. We're gonna leave that. And I'm just gonna add some more. Okay, so note to self when you're doing this technique, whatever's going to be on the bottom, you need to put that down first. So we have to think about how we are laying this out. So I'm gonna have to add some embossing powder where I hadn't planned on it before. And that's just because I had not thought about it. So again, note to self when you're doing this technique is you have to think about it ahead of time, how you want these things to be laid out, how it's going to be laid out, which part is on the top, which part is on the bottom, that kind of thing, so that you know which piece you have to lay down first. Okay. Woo. All right, man down. Okay. Put some of that right back on there. Now, before I even put this one down, I'm gonna have to think, right? So is this one gonna go first? And then this one? Because then this has to be on top. All right, so I'm gonna have to think about that. So it does involve a little bit of thinking, just a little bit, not a whole lot. But you do have to think a little bit about layout and design. And so I'm gonna make all of my mistakes here so that you guys can see what not to do, so that when you do it, you know exactly what not to do. All right. All right, let's get this burnished real quick. All right, so now that we've got this done, let's move this away again. All right. So this is gonna go up here, like so. And then this is gonna come in here, like so. And I need this part to be on the bottom so that that guy can go over top. You see how I'm thinking about that? So this is gonna go down first. And we're laying this part down first because in order for us to be able to get the top piece to do what we need for it to do, that is the orientation that we're looking for, okay? And then this will go right in here like that. And so that's what we'll end up having. So we have repaired the crack or the broken paper with something that is adorned even more beautifully. And then we're just gonna lay this over top like that. There we go. All right, you guys, and here we go. We have repaired the broken paper. So now let's just go make a card out of this. Something simple, because I don't want to cover up this beautiful design that we just made, right? I might need a little bit more adhesive here to make sure it's laying down. The beauty of liquid glue. Okay, because it gets right in there. Okay, perfect. And if you miss the spot, you guys, like I think I missed just a little bit here, you could actually go right back in with the very edge of the Versamark pad and add a little bit more and then embellish that. But I'm not going to do that. I like it just the way it is, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. So now I'm going to make a very quick card. All I'm going to do is a quick sentiment and maybe a little bit of ribbon and get this card done for y'all. And then somewhere between tonight and the weekend, I am going to create several more because I'm loving this technique. I'm trying to put things away as I use them because thank goodness for a Zoom shot, because I have my workspace so tightly zoomed in, you don't want to see what's around on the other side. Let me see. It is a hurricane. For a second, put everything out of the way, put our little pin back in our bottle so that it does not clog our tip, and get ready to create this card. All right, so I'm gonna do a card base now. And again, I use Sahara sand, and I'm gonna make this a standard A2 card. So I'm gonna score it on the 4 1/4. And then I'm gonna cut it on the 5 1/2. Perfect. All right. Oh. Now my question to myself is, I normally like to add a layer in between my card base, but I think, hold on. When I told you that embossing powder gets everywhere, I was not kidding. Even though I was very careful, there is grit of embossing powder everywhere. All right. So now we have our card base, and it is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at the 4 1/4 and burnished. And I normally would put a piece of, yeah, I just put my card somewhere. I don't know where I did with it. My beautifully designed paper. And I have no idea where I just put it. It will come to me. Ah, there it is. So I would normally put a piece maybe of basic white in between to have a little bit of contrast. What do you think? What do you think? I'm gonna give you a few minutes to respond. Would you put a piece of 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 piece of basic white in between? Have a little bit of a border. All right, so that's what it looks like. with that. And that's not bad, but my personal style making is I love to have a layer in here. So it'll be like that, and then like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to wait a few more minutes. I'm going to cut it just in case you guys agree with me. And so I need this to be 1/8 bigger, so it'll be 4 1/8. By 5 3/8. All right, so if we mat this, it'll be like this. And then this will go just like so. Give me a thumbs up or a like if you think we should mat it. And I'll keep the poll open for a little bit longer while I take a sip. All right, I see those likes. All right, so here we go. I see that I need to add a little bit more adhesive here for me to be comfortable. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. And then I'm just gonna mat this and then mount the base, mount the panel to my card base. Okay. Now you could have done this with any size of designer paper. I chose to go with a 4 by 5 1/4, but you could have done something a little bit smaller. You could have done a 3 3/4 by 5 if that's what you wanted to do. Okay. So I'm gonna put this on here, and then I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do next. Oh wait, what am I gonna do with my ribbon? I don't want to cover a lot up, so let me just grab a piece of cardstock. So now I got to get my sentiment done. And my choices are, I can come out with the Crane of Fortune, wishing a lifetime of happiness in a world full of love, much luck and good fortune. Or I can do from the bamboo, grateful for all that you do. You are so loved. A true, oh, I like this one. A true friend is the one who holds your hand and touches your heart. Y'all, I already know where I'm going. I already know where I'm going with that one. And to top it off, all I'm going to do is I'm going to also emboss that because it makes sense. Right? So I'm looking for my little embossing buddy. Okay. Grab my block. Grab my Versamark. And when you're using the Versamark, you guys, just another tip, especially on sentiment, pounce it very carefully so that you don't get a lot of the embossing powder in the VersaFine ink in between the cracks, because when you add the embossing powder, it could look very clumpy. So just be cognizant of that when you are using the embossing Versamark. I know you can't see it, but I can. And here we go. If you don't like embossing, if you don't like heat embossing, by the time you're done with this technique, you'll either really come to love it or you'll really hate it. One of the two, okay? And I already love embossing, so I'm gonna continue with my love of embossing. All right, let that sit for a minute. And again, oils on your fingertips. And we just want to make sure that we remove as much oils as possible, because anything that there's the oil or the adhesive from the VersaFine ink, the embossing powder will stick to it. And when you heat emboss it, you might not have as pretty a design as you wanted to, because it'll have like smudge marks, etc. in it. So that's the purpose of using the embossing button. Cardstock. Okay. All right, so now let's bring out the heat tool one last time and get this embossed. This is definitely not a quick project. It is not one that I would mass produce. This is definitely a card for special people. Like a friend of mine says, you have to be card worthy. So because of the time, attention, and care that will go into creating this card. All righty. So we're done with that. And here's what I'm gonna do. I wish I had thought about it before. I am looking for, a fine line. No, maybe that'll mess it up. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's just cut this out. Where's my trimmer? Or do we want to punch it out? All right, let's just cut it out, because we have so many options. So we have a piece here that we're going to cut, and this is about 1.5 inches, but I don't need that much. I want it to be this is about a 1 1/8 inch and a quarter. It's about 1 1/4 inches. By 2 2/3. That's about what we have. Okay, 1 1/4 inches by 2 2/3. And why am I saying that? Because I'm going to look for a mat, right? 1 1/4 inches by 2 2/3. Let me get this cut out now. 1 1/4 inches. So we need an 1/8 of an inch. And I think this was, what was this, 2 2/3. So it'll be 2 7/8. Okay. Now we're going to make this pretty. I am looking for And this is I think this is Very Best Trio punch. Yeah. Very Best Trio. And I think this is the decorative edge that I'm looking for. But before I do it, I'm going to test it out just to make sure I know what I'm doing, right? So let's test it. Okay. And if we just turn it, will it do the same thing? Okay. So we know what we're doing. We're just turning, right? So we're going to put this in here. Perfect. Turn it. Oh, no. That's what we're going to do. We're going to have to do it all the way around, right? What you do on one side, you got to do on the other. Okay. So that's our punch. And so now we're going to do the same thing here. All right. So we've got our matte layer, our sentiment on our matte layer. So we're going to put this together. Okay. And we're going to add some dimensionals to that. Okay. And I don't really want to cover the design work up, right? So where we're going to put this guy, right? Let's think about that. We want to offset him a little bit. We want to put it here. We want to put it here. But that covers that beautiful mark right there. And I don't want to do that. Or we can put it down here. Top or bottom, you guys. Those are our choices for this sentiment. And then I'm looking for my, of course, I could never put my hands on that thing when I'm looking for it. The baker's twine is what it's called. I just saw it yesterday. Oh boy. I'll give you guys a few minutes because there is a delay in terms of what we're going to use. And it doesn't really need a whole lot more embellishment. Give me a thumbs up if it's for the top, a like if it's for the top, or oh yeah, we're gonna go to white. Like if it's for the top, or love if it's for the bottom. I'm really not seeing that I absolutely need to have, oh, a love. We have a love. I see a love. So that's bottom. Okay, so I see the bottom. So this is pretty much what our card's gonna look like. I still feel that there's something missing here. We'll fill that in with something. Not sure what yet. This is design on the fly with Caron, y'all. I never have any idea what I'm doing until I do it. So let's put that here. Make sure it's even. I think it's even. That will go there. And then we have our embellishment. And you guys, this card is almost done. Let's just put this on here. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me tonight while I tried out this Kintsugi, I hope I'm saying it correctly, technique based on a Japanese style called broken repair. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do decide to give this technique a try, please share with me what you've created, as I would love to see what you have created. You can come right back on this video and post your picture and let me know what you've created, as I would absolutely love to see what you've done. All right, let's see, what are we gonna do here? 1, 2, 3. I don't know that that did a lot for it, but I have to have some kind of bling on my card. All right, so here we go, guys. This is the final product based upon our Kintsugi, I hope I'm saying it right, technique. It's all about broken repair. So the tips again for using this technique is 1, do a slow controlled tear of your cardstock or your designer paper. Make sure that you rip towards yourself when you're doing it. When you're putting your pieces together, keep in mind which is going to go on top, which is going to go on bottom, so that you layer them appropriately so that you don't cover up your embossed element. So this is very quick, very simple. I think it's beautiful, even though I would do some other things differently, but hey, I'm going to create some more, and I hope you take a shot in creating this as well. Thank you guys for joining me, and happy stamping.